Hi, I'm Tracy Mingy of the Eskasoni First Nation, and as the Manager of Community Economic Development, I see the challenges involved in Aboriginal business every day. In 2007, the Atlantic Aboriginal Economic Development Integrated Research Program, the ADERP, was established to provide much-needed data and research on Aboriginal economic development to support decision-making in the region. The ADERP is a unique partnership between the 37 member communities of the Atlantic Policy Congress of First Nation Chiefs, the Inuit of Labrador, 12 Atlantic Canadian universities, and federal and provincial government funding agencies. In 2013, the Coady International Institute and St. Francis Xavier University, in collaboration with ADERP, engaged in a two-phase research project in First Nation communities across Atlantic Canada entitled Entrepreneurship Among First Nations Women in the Atlantic Region. I was asked to be a member of the advisory group for this project and gladly took on the role. The project was successful in part due to the involvement of women from the First Nations communities who conducted the interviews and assisted in analyzing the data. Following the research program, the ADERP, along with its partners, hosted an Aboriginal Women in Business workshop. As part of the agenda, we invited Rosie+Basque from the Eskasoni First Nation to tell her story, from the seeds of entrepreneurship to her current operation of two businesses, one in Eskasoni and the other in Member 2 First Nation. Here is Rosie with her story.
Hi, my name is Rosie+Basque. My parents are Mary Bridget Paul and Herman Paul, and I'm from Eskasoni Reserve. I have 4 children and I have 4 grandchildren. When I started my business, I really never even thought about starting a business. And when I got married, I got married when I was 20 and brought up 4 beautiful children. And I never thought I'd be an entrepreneur. And I often said, growing up, I always changed my skills, and I wanted to be a teacher, I wanted to be a social worker, but I went back to school, and in 1995 I graduated and I worked for Micmac Family and Children's Services. 1998, tragedy hit my family, and my husband died, and coming home from Boston, he died on the plane, and so I took time off from work, and then later on in April of that same year, my son was killed in a car accident, so I couldn't go back to work. So I sat my kids down one supper and I said, well, what do you want me to do? Do you guys want me to start this business? But because we have to pick out a name. I have one son. I have 2 daughters and a son. So my son, his nickname is Slick. So he said, of course he said, oh Mom, call it Slick's Smoke Shop, our new store. And then maybe a few years later down the road, one of my hairdressers here, Marie, had asked me, why don't you open a hair salon? I said, oh my God, if you're really serious, Marie, you have to come and see me. So she did come and see me. She came to my house, and at that time my boyfriend had a pizza shop that I had found a boyfriend by then. He had a pizza shop, and he had a little room at the back, and he told me, you can rent that you can have that spot. We weren't even renting it. And we went and purchased used equipment, and we had a little room. It must have been 10 by 12, and Marie was cutting hair there. And it went really, really well. But my kids really support me, and my family supports me. I really have to give a lot of credit. Like, if you're a business person, it's very hard. Like, I'm not just working 9 to 4. I do a lot of hours because I'm managing now 2 businesses, my store in Eskasoni and here. And I still have a family that, all my children are adults, but I'm watching my grandson, so that keeps me busy. So I always feel like if you're going to be a business person, don't think it's going to be 9 to 4. It's like a lot of hard work. And like sometimes I work 10, 11 hours, 12 hours a day. And like I don't go home. My workers here think, oh, Rosie's going home, she's gone for the day. I go to my other business, and I have to make sure everything is balanced, everything is done, whatever needs to be ordered. There's a lot of work that involves doing a business. And I think as women, we shouldn't be giving up our goals and dreams, and don't be afraid to take that next step. Like, my husband was a Vietnam veteran. He always told me, don't be afraid to take that next step. Nobody's shooting at you. So I always think of that when I feel like, oh, I'm not going to do it, I'm not going to do it. And but I always say, no, that's true. If I'm going to succeed, if I'm going to do well, I just have to keep going. And The only person that can hold me down is myself. Just got to keep working on it.